Hey everybody, Scott here from Surviving Life's Pickles, bringing you another amazing episode of the I Love You Bro Hour. But before we jump into this, I wanted to hurry and let you guys know about the most amazing, the best fundraiser that is going to happen this year, and that is the Forge Through Fire fundraiser for the I Love You Bro project. We're raising money and awareness for the I Love You Bro project because too many men suffer in silence and too many lives continue to be lost on a daily basis. The money raised help protect these men, help bring these men education, help bring these men the support groups, help bring these men therapy where needed and different programs. All of the money donated in this fundraiser go directly to the project to help men recover, to help them be their best selves. So please come out and support us. And if that's not enough, if that is not enough reason or inspiration for you to come out to this amazing event, here are a few things that are going to happen during that event. We have live DJs. We're going to have a food trucks and dessert trucks, bouncy houses and kids games, sumo suit wrestling. I challenge you, come find me, let's wrestle. Axe throwing, Kenny J's barbecue wing challenge, mental and physical health resources on site. Come meet some of the therapists we work with. Come see us. We're going to be hanging out. Come see all the people that make the I Love You Bro project happen behind the scenes. All of the education, all of the workshop providers, we're all going to be there hanging out. So come check us out. But at the very end of the night, we have two amazing things that are going to happen. First, we have the fire walk where bros get to walk across real fire and hot coals to prove to themselves they can overcome and do hard things. If you've ever struggled, if you are struggling, if you've accomplished something you didn't think you could, this is another opportunity to prove to yourself that you can do hard things. Come out because every step across those cinders and those coals says you're not alone. I will walk with you and we will be there with you. Come do hard things, come walk on real fire. And plus, it's a great story to tell your friends, family, kids, and grandkids going around. But after that, we're going to be serenaded by one of the amazing musical artists from our time, and that's Alex Bouye. He's going to be there sharing his talents with us because he believes in the I Love You Bro project, and he wanted to give back by sharing his talents with everybody that comes out. So come out, check out all these amazing things, see all the vendors, raise some money for a good cause while having a great time. If you guys have any questions or need any more information about the fundraiser, check out the I Love You Bro webpage at iloveyoubroproject.org. Check out our social media pages on Instagram and on Facebook. All the information is there. You can sign up, get your tickets early, and come out and support us and have a great time. Can't wait to see you guys all there. Hope you enjoy this episode of the I Love You Bro Hour. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Surviving Life's Pickles. Today is another one of our special edition I Love You Bro Hour. And what this is, if nobody's tuned into one of these, is we're dedicating this episode and this hour to the I Love You Bro project. We are sponsoring this here at Surviving Life's Pickles to bring the message out about the I Love You Bro project, how it's helped men, what type of things are going on, what type of services we offer, and just more in-depth education about the project and how it can help our community. And today I am joined with Jason. Jason, how are you today?
I'm good. Today's a good day.
That's good. We'll start off a day with good day, right?
One day at a time sometimes as you go through life's journeys.
Yeah. Well, Jason, as we start off every one of these episodes, and I don't know if you've listened to them or not, so I'm going to throw you on the spot. What are you grateful for today?
I'm grateful for life's miracles that you don't anticipate coming. Praying for miracles, the ones that you want for. And then as life happens, you get the miracles that you need in your life.
Oh, that's powerful.
Because, we can get into this, but what I'm alluding to is I prayed for my wife to overcome cancer, and my miracle didn't happen. But as I step back and look at all the things that have transpired, there's many miracles that have happened for me and for my family, and I'm so grateful for miracles.
Yeah. Well, and it is definitely powerful how those things, those experiences, when we're in them, we don't look at it that way. We're
Yep.
looking at it
Yep.
as, why me? Why do I have to do this?
Hmm.
Struggling. But as hindsight and you start processing those, it's amazing how your point of view changes. It's amazing how those events affect your life.
Oh yeah, very true.
So for me, I'm just today. I'm super grateful. We haven't recorded since me and Hillary have been back from our short little vacation. We try to take one every April because that's April 14th is the day we actually met.
Hmm.
And we actually almost celebrate that day more than we do our actual anniversary because it was such a powerful event when we collided, is
Nope.
what I'm going to say.
Very cool.
We just connected from the very first moment we met. And it was just, that's history from there.
Hmm.
And so we celebrate it every year. And the last 3 years, we've gone to Red Rocks to see a concert.
Hmm.
This year, we had the experience of a lifetime. I don't know if I can ever compare what happened this time
Mm-hmm.
to anything else in my life.
Hmm.
And I'm so grateful to be able to experience that. And just to allude a little bit what happened, we went and seen our favorite artist, which is Elderbrook. And his music this past year has influenced a lot of our life and a lot of recovery and a lot of growth and different things. It's very powerful. And when he took the stage, I was so overcome with emotions. I just started bawling. Like I could not control the feelings and I couldn't even express them with words that I was having. And she looked over at me and just smiled. And then all of a sudden, those emotions started coming because she didn't know how to express them because she knew how much being there and how much the music has helped me. And it just overwhelmed both of us. And we were able to connect and feel those emotions. But then it spread
Hmm.
to everybody around us. Like people seeing that I'm this guy dancing and just bawling my eyes out. And people around us started seeing that and people around us started sharing that emotion and that experience in itself to share that type of connection and emotion with complete strangers was so powerful. When we met a couple because of all this that talked about their mental health status and things they've been going through, and it was just such a overwhelming emotional experience that I don't know if I'll ever be able to experience something like that again in that way. I mean, we were so drained. We didn't even want to leave the hotel the next day because we just were exhausted.
Hmm.
But it was such a good exhaustion.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I felt like I'd been in a weekend full of therapy. Like I processed so much emotions in that moment, good and bad, and just everything over the last year just kind of came to fruition.
Hmm.
And so I'm so grateful that I am in tune. I'm so grateful that I got to experience that with her. And I am always going to hold that experience right here in my heart because it was incredible.
Hopefully you write it down and record it.
Yes. Well, we actually went back the next day. If the concerts aren't going on, because it is a national monument type place, you can kind of walk around.
Mm-hmm.
They do have stuff blocked off. But the next day, we were actually able to go back because they didn't have a concert, and we were able to stand on stage
Mm.
where that happened. And again, that feeling was instantly back. But I was able to look up at what he was seeing when he was on stage, and that was just a powerful moment.
Mm.
So it was great.
Mm.
It was great. So yeah,
Good.
we've documented a lot of it and kind of wrote stuff down, and that will be one that we'll never forget, and it'll always stay in our hearts. So
Yeah, you hold on to those, and then when you're going through a difficult moment of your life, then you bring those back
yeah,
to remind you you are capable and possible to have some of those good moments.
right. Well, and that's what life's about. Like we took a few little videos. I'm not the guy that stands there with my phone on the whole time. I enjoy the moment, but there's been other people that have posted videos. And I know you've met John that comes to our group,
Mm.
Mr. You're Awesome.
Yeah.
I was wearing his You're Awesome shirt.
Mm.
And so there's a couple of videos where people have posted, and you can see me because we were sitting second row. And instantly, as soon as I see those videos and hear the music, it clicks me right back to
Mm.
that moment. And it's amazing because those will always be online.
Mm.
I'll always be able to just jump right back into that moment. So it's pretty special that way.
Awesome.
So But that's what I'm grateful for today. So today I've asked Jason here. Jason is our resident, would we say resident clinician on the board?
Board clinician.
Board
That's how
clinician.
Joe refers me
Okay.
to.
So Jason really helps the I Love You Bro project with a lot of our structure, a lot of our guidance, our rules, things that we want to stay in this format in every single group to keep it consistent, but to keep it safe
Mm-hmm.
for the guys. And so I wanted Jason on today to kind of talk about how he got involved in the project and just kind of how it evolved from after he met Joe, because you guys were kind of the forefathers of this
Mm.
thing and kind of helped get it off the ground. And so let's just kind of start there of how did the first part of this, how did you get connected with Joe, and where did the discussion start about the project?
It's a great question. Let's see, where do I start? I think for listeners, it's good to have a little bit of background, kind of where led me and Joe into our worlds colliding, because we share circles that share similar friends.
Okay.
We didn't know that until we started talking and connecting. And while Joe was going through his experience where he's loving his little bro off the bridge, and that amazing experience that really has inspired a lot of this that Joe has put together. Um, while Joe's doing that, I'm in a different world where I just lost my wife to cancer. She had stage 4 colon cancer, was given 2 to 3 years to live. And after 9 months, she passed away. So we ended up burying my wife and then picking up the pieces and try to do life again. And it changed us. It altered us. I didn't want to get out of bed the next morning after the funeral. My support crew disappeared, and I was like, okay, this is hard, and I don't want to begin talking and opening up and sharing. So I went back to work about 8 days after my wife passed away, which I don't recommend.
Yeah. Well, and you're a therapist.
Yeah.
So that makes it probably even a lot more difficult. You have people coming in and talking about their issues when you have your huge one here.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's like triggering me throughout the whole sessions. And I remember holding on to, I said I could do this, and maybe if I help people, it will help my grief. And I did it for about a year. And then I got to a point where it was too overwhelming and too difficult. And kind of one of the pivotal moments is I came home from work, and I was doing a really good job. What men do is we put on masks of masculinity.
Mm-hmm.
We hide our emotions and what we're going through and all the pain so that we can be strong for everybody, right? And I had 2 little boys that I didn't want to show any weaknesses and show that I was struggling. And I came home one day, and my son's sitting on the couch, and he's about 12 this time. And he looks me right in the eye and goes, "Dad, you come home angry every day."
Wow.
And for my 12-year-old to look at me, and I'm trained to be stoic in sessions and try to hold on to these emotions, my son saw right through me. And at that point I said, I need to change the way I was doing things. So shortly after that, I took a lunch break, and I just felt the weight of the emotions of the situation. And I knew I needed a change, but I didn't know how to change. So I remember pulling out my phone, and I remember sending a text to friends and family and neighbors and people in my church group, and said, I'm not doing too well. Can you come over to my house? And I want to open up and talk. So I invited them over. I remember at my house, all of a sudden at 7 o'clock, when I told them to show up, there's a knock at the door, and I was like, oh no, people are here, and I'm going to have to talk.
Wow.
And through this miracle, I call it my healing team, as I took off my mask in my living room, had my own intervention, and I shared how hard, difficult life was. And then it gave people permission to help me, support me, say what they needed to say, how to help the boys, and it gave me permission to heal. And this has been so transformational as far as my healing journey and grief. And then even as a therapist that sits in group and manages groups, and then as I've been working with Joe, it has, I'm getting emotional talking about this because it goes back to that moment of creating a place where people can share, people can let off their pull off their masks, and people can share how they've been holding on to life and holding on for dear life. And I often reflect back on that as Joe asks questions about how do you want to do this group or what about this and this, and I really reflect back on that moment of what helped me to be able to find hope again. And through 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 a series of things that me and my boys did, I was posting things on social media after this, and people notice, and they notice Joe over here, and they notice me over here. What I did was I got these yellow sunshine baskets, and I put a bunch of yellow things in it. And I said, anybody that's going through cancer, has lost a loved one, that has gone through a difficult moment, we want to know about them. Because what me and my boys did is we would go deliver these baskets to these people, sit in their emotions, give them hope, and just have these amazing spiritual, emotional experience to just sit in their pain. And it was life changing for me and my boys. Again, it was a sense of healing because I forgot about myself and I was helping another person, and that was powerful. And I was connecting, and that's the power of healing, is connection. So as social media and my posting about my experience and Joe's posting, someone introduced us and said, "Hey, have you met Joe? You need to meet each other. You guys have cool stories together." And we just started connecting. And I remember our first connection, we met at a restaurant in Costa Costa Vida or Cafe Rio. They're the same thing. So I remember sitting across from each other, and Joe shared his story. I shared my story. And the synergy right there just really connected us. And we connected on an emotional level. We have different stories and different backgrounds, but emotionally, we really connected. And that's where the synergy happened. And often Joe refers to this moment where there's a bunch of a table of construction workers, and they're just sitting there, and they're just, all of them are on their phone just scrolling. And then there's us that are sitting there crying and sharing raw emotions. It's like this dichotomy between what men should be doing versus what men are doing. And from there, it just started saying we need to create. I mean, I was looking back at my messages from Joe, and really Joe had a vision from the get-go. So I really looked back at the message like 2 years ago, and he's like, I want to create this and this and this and this. So I give Joe all the credit to be able to create this vision of the I Love You Bro. And then as he has invited me in, it's just like, well, how can we help men open up more? Or what do we need to do to ask more questions? Or how do we make really deep connections? And that's where Joel's pulled me in and pulled my experience and my experience as a therapist and my experience of doing my own healing team to be able to help men come feel safe, feel like this is a place where they can take off their mask, they can share and open up and have an amazing experience time and time again, and feel like these men care. Yeah. And that's been part of the process of helping Joe. And it's not perfect. We have things we need to do and adjust, and part of some of the funding from what that we get will say, Joe, you need to consider this, or you need to consider this. But I think for the most part, as I've sat in all the groups, and that was part of my role, is to go sit and feel the groups and be there and hear the stories. And I feel like for the most part, men go there and they have some amazing experiences. There's times where men share things that they don't have never shared with their wife, with anybody in their life. There's men that are saying, I feel like I want to die. And it becomes a powerful experiences where men care and they says, we're here for you. And it's genuine and it's authentic. And that's why men continue to
Yeah.
come back time and time again.
Well, and you telling your brief story about your healing team and how you invited these people over as your support group, so you were able to. That reminds me of so many of the groups I've been to.
Mm.
My first time,
Hmm.
you were there,
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
and that is the feeling that I can remember. Is I was able to unload all these emotions
Uh-huh.
to a group of people that then surrounded me. And I mean that was my first experience. But as I've been to other groups and as I've been leading groups, it happens week after week
Yes.
that another guy has that exact same
Mm.
experience. And so what I believe you've done is, as you have been working with Joe, and that was your vision, is you need a healing team.
Yeah.
You need a group of people. You need your tribe that's going to surround you. You've implemented that just by being part of it. You're not at every group, but I think, your presence and your guys' vision at the first
Mm-hmm.
continues to flow through all of us who are leading these groups, to allow these guys to feel safe, to allow these guys to feel like we are there, and creating this support system for them. So that's a huge thing, as you've been talking, that just, I see it that exact time,
Mm.
every time and time over again, which is amazing that is so universal between all the groups.
Mm. I feel so strongly about it. Even as a therapist, I refer to my clients to these groups because I believe in what we do and I've seen the miracles that have happened. And
Yeah.
I've had specific clients that have gone and they've gotten what they need from these groups time and time. And they come back and they said, I met this person and this is my connection. And I'm just like,
It's wonderful.
it keeps working.
Yeah. Well, and you bring that up. There's a guy that has been coming to Pleasant Grove, fourth or fifth time that he's
Mm-hmm.
been there now. This week he showed up and his energy was completely changed.
Mm.
It was amazing. Like, he was so full of life. And he talked for a few minutes about how the group has gave him the courage to stand up for what he needed and what he wanted. He was able to set boundaries with people in his life. And he's like, I feel all this weight lifted. And it was because we were able to encourage him. He felt empowered by what we were doing. Like,
Yeah.
it is, I've watched it over the last few weeks of him showing up,
Mm.
of how that's changed his life. And it's amazing.
Yeah. And there's a story, there's stories in West Jordan.
Right.
I remember his first experience. I don't remember his name. So if he's listening, I apologize, but he was broken. He was ready to just not be around. And, as I go back and show up, like his light, his energy, he gives back to other men in the group. He gives them hope that he's had. And it's incredible. And there's moments in Pleasant Grove and West Jordan and South Jordan or Provo, and they continue to happen over and
Yeah.
over and over again. So
We have fun
yeah,
in the group.
yeah.
We joke, we laugh, we have fun. But every single group, there's a guy that needs something.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we are always somehow in tune to find it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that brings kind of the next question of, was that your vision? As you said, Joe was really kind of the one behind this, driving it. He was the force. But with your healing team, is that kind of, did Joe have that same idea, or was that something you kind of brought in as, hey, we need to have this group that is able to surround each other?
I think it was a combined effort through
Okay.
his own experience of just learning about Aaron and having that personal connection of helping another guy, and then my connection of opening up. We shared that together to have that be a powerful experience as these groups happen. I mean, I think Joe just didn't want to put on a group just to check off a box. He wanted to honestly create a place that will change lives and have a ripple effect that goes to their wife, to other males in the group, and it just kind of trickles out and influences many lives to come. Not just one person, just one experience. This is life changing, and this is like this can be generational healing that happens on a regular basis as men continue to show up, continue to feel this energy, and after a month, they're empowered to change their lives.
Yeah. So as that's going on, what do the discussions behind the scenes look like? I mean, what were
I,
the ideas you guys were spitballing? I mean, how?
I, I mean, and to be really honest, and Joe will be honest with this, is we joke that we're each other's therapists, that we call and be like, oh my gosh, this is what's going on, and that's the beauty of the group, and that's what we've tried to incorporate too, is their friendships being built, and then when you have a difficult moment, I think Joe calls them
The 2 a.m. friend.
2 a.m. friends, yeah,
Yeah.
that you can call up and say, I'm struggling with this. Let me bounce some ideas off of and just kind of clear your, for those in the tech world, clear your cache in your toolbar, and then be able to refocus and kind of get back to life. So, and we've had those conversations a lot to be able to help each other. But behind the scenes, it's talking about how men will show up, what will they take away, how will they be perceived, how will they I think a big thing for that we've talked about is how can we help men come back to the group, because there's men that can come and have an amazing experience, but we want them to come back and continue to feel. It's one thing to have that experience, but it's also to come back and to see change, to also watch other men change.
Mm.
I think behind the scenes we talk a lot about that, about how to get men back in. And that's been an ongoing struggle. People are going through their own experience, but how we structured the group and asking these icebreaker questions to connect, and then have activities where men can bond and connect on a different level,
Right.
to be able to create some synergy that when they come back, they want to come back, not just out of obligation or I heard this was a good group. They want to come back because there's a deep connection. And again, true connection happens on emotional level when you connect emotion to emotion. Whether it's experience to experience, that's hard to create. What you went through is exactly what I went through. But when you can connect on an emotional level, it's a game changer. And you're having that with your wife over and over and over again.
Right. Well, and you say connect on that emotional level. We all have gone through stuff in our life. We all go through these traumas. Each of our traumas are and experiences are what we need, and they're, tailored to what we need to learn from, what we need to grow. And each of them are very different. But as you're saying, each of them on an emotional level are very, very similar.
Mm-hmm.
And we're able to connect. Like you and me were able to connect that first. We have some things in common. But there was another guy, older gentleman there, and we try to keep everything there. We don't really call people out, but I know Bill is very secure. He is one of the OGs, and he preaches "I love you, bro" everywhere. So, first of all, I'm going to say thank you, Bill. But Bill was there, and he lost his wife, and he's older, and that's something I haven't been through. But emotionally, I mean, we clicked almost instantly, and it is that powerful. If you open yourself up just a little bit. And that's one thing I always worry about holding a group. We had a very, very rough, I don't say rough, but very deep conversation a few weeks ago. We had a couple new guys there.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really deep. Like we had a lot of guys in tears, and we had a guy that was really struggling, kind of rallied around him and, kind of worked through some stuff with him. And I always worry, I'm like, are those guys going to come back?
Yeah.
because it's like, wow, this is what I signed up for. This is really another level because we have those conversations sometime. So it always makes me worry. And because I was on vacation last week, I wasn't able to see, but they came back.
Yeah.
And so that's powerful to me that they weren't scared. They're like, hey, maybe I do need this, or maybe they did connect the way I was hoping they would with somebody there.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, men in general don't know how to open up and share.
right.
And then also when they share, that's new territory. It's like, now what do I do? Like, I've just opened myself and I'm emotional and I'm vulnerable to a bunch of dudes
Mhm.
I've never met. How are they going to perceive me if I come back?
Yeah.
And I think that's what prevents people from coming back, is that perception that gets stuck in their head, the narrative that's been telling them over and over that they're not good enough, or that's a weakness. I have shown a side that I'm not proud of. But the more that we can have these connection groups or stay after and talk with them, the more that we allow them to be invited back. And that's the power of saying, and that's what also me and Joe have talked about, is how can we continue to have not just one person share, but multiple people share, so that that synergy and that connection can continue to feel like it's a safe place.
Yeah. So, what are your key points of how we connect with some of these guys, or for others that are listening that have been on the fence about coming? What are some key points about what you would encourage them to do, or why would you encourage them to come back, or things to look for kind
Yeah.
of when they come
I
to the
mean,
group?
when I facilitate a group, I just say, just listen, just sit back and observe, and see if it's a safe place and a good place for you to be here. And generally, when I say that, the new guys generally talk.
Right.
They test the waters, they try it out to see if it's something that will work for them. I mean, that's it. I mean, for the group to give a small chance to help someone, that's a lot of pressure. But I see it time and time again where men will open up and share, and then people will surround them and they'll give them advice or feedback to be able to help them. And the power that comes is what they do with it and come back. So I would say, give the group for four groups to be able to make a judgment
Okay.
before you can just walk away, because the first group is going to be overwhelming. You're testing the waters, you're getting to know people, and it's kind of like a relationship.
It
As you
is.
go in, and you want to know who you can connect with, you want to know who's safe, you want to know, is this a place that's going to give me really good feedback that's going to work for me? Because I'm taking a risk of opening up and talking. Is what they are telling me going to work for me? So the next time you go back, you want to be able to open up a little bit more and share, and see what other people do with it. Be able to make that connection outside of the group to see what it's like, not just in a really intimate situation, but have those conversations outside. And I think a lot of miracles are also happening outside of the groups, whether they're connecting, texting, or going and doing activities outside of the group. Give yourself an opportunity to feel the group more than just what's in the group.
Yeah.
And you're making an investment in a relationship to be able to see how it's going to benefit you.
Well, one thing on that note, it's interesting to see all the different things that these guys want to try, because we come to group and we all have different ways of coping. We all have, and as you put it, and we use this all the time, relieve that little pressure
Yeah.
of that soda bottle.
Yep.
Unscrew the cap a little bit, let a little pressure out, screw it back on.
Yep.
So we all have our different ways. And you're sitting here, you see that I have my cold tub and things here. Well, that's inspired other guys. We did our river plunge. I
Yeah.
took a whole bunch of them out and threw them in the cold water to show them, look, this really helps with your stress level.
Mhm.
I've also had a few of them come over here to the house and hop in and do my exact routine that I do. I turn on the same playlist. I have them do the hot tub,
Yeah.
the cold tub, a little meditation, just showing them my things. They've also reached out and said, "Hey, this is what I do. You should try this." And it's been very empowering that these guys are jumping out of their comfort zone
Yeah.
to try new things.
Yeah.
It- I want to jump up and down like and scream to the heavens about this guy that's coming to our group. He's one of my favorite people. And we have been hounding him since he started coming that he needed to read a book. He's like, I don't read books. I don't do it. Not my thing. Not a chance. He came to group this past week. And because we're always talking about, I mean, in our group in PG, we call it almost a little book club because we're always talking about the new books we're listening to or reading because we all integrate differently.
Yeah.
And we keep pushing him, pushing him, pushing him. Read a book. Try this one. This one's easy. Start with something easy. Start with something easy. Well, this week he came back and he says, I read 2 books last week. And it just warmed my heart because I could see the excitement on his face that he'd finally tried something new and he liked it.
Mm.
And it's as simple as that. You know what? Pick up an article and read it. If you don't like reading, maybe you try something new. Those are the cool things I see happening.
Yeah, and it's you bring up a good point. It's more than just a group of random people sharing emotions. It's about relationships
Yeah.
that you look forward to seeing these people. You celebrate their wins, and it's fun when someone comes back and says, "I did this," or "I was able to hold a boundary with my kid or my boss," and we celebrate that with
We
them,
do.
and that's empowering. It's like people really care about me because they want me to win. When an individual wins, the group wins, and we're like you're talking about. He read 2 books.
Right.
I can just imagine you guys just like,
We were so excited. It was a huge win. Oh, well, you say bring these relationships for each other's cheerleaders. I have coworkers that are now coming
Hmm.
because they see how it's influencing my life. They want to come check it out, and they're like, "Wow, this is great!"
Yeah,
And it's just spreading.
yeah. The power too is talking about it outside of
It
group as
is.
well. Like it becomes so transformational. People begin to see us and they ask questions. What are you doing? And you talk about it. And that's how a lot of group members have been invited is because another person has shared what's happening and they invite them in this trusted circle that allows them to feel differently.
Yeah. Well, I kind of want to take it back just a little bit. We talked about your healing team, kind of how you and Joe met, got connected, and things started going. But I want to ask, how has the group now helped you? Do you still have your own personal little healing team, or is that kind of dissipated a little bit because now you have the group? How is the group helping you today?
I mean, I've had groups. I still have my healing team that I've established.
Okay.
And at a moment's notice, I can text my keyword that we created in that healing team. When I was struggling, we created a one keyword that sent out to my captain, and she would send it out to everybody, and everybody would go into action to help me and take the stressors off the world.
Okay.
So that's still in place, whether I need it and I'm struggling or if it's ready to go. But for me, the group is a sense of community that I look forward to going. I to be able to sit with other men and hear what they're going through, and like Billy's probably hearing this and we're talking a
Absolutely.
lot about him, but I've made a connection with Billy too because he's obviously lost his wife and he's widowed, and when he's going through something, I can sit with him and I can offer advice or things that's helping me and it helps another man. So, am I struggling today? I have stuff that goes on, but for me, what helps me is sitting in the group, be a part of this group that is a healing environment, but helping another man and sharing advice that's worked through what I've worked through helps me to stay connected to the group. So I uh, I very rarely go and say, "Hey, I'm struggling with this." I utilize my outside healing team, or I call Joe, or utilize my wife. But for me, I felt so deeply emotionally connected to these men that I come back, and when I come back, I say, "Hey, I want to share some advice because I care about you."
Yeah.
And I can honestly say that because men have cared about me. So I want to pass it back on and get them into a spot that can help another man, another person in the group. So for me giving back, like paying it forward, is the way that I um, honor and stay connected to the group.
One the way you say, just come and listen, or sometimes come and share your advice, share your wins. Joe, and I think you might have even said this too, but Joe says it on a regular basis when he comes to the group. He'll start the group and then he'll just sit back and say, I'm not sure what I need to hear today, but I know somebody's going to share it. So I'm just going to tune in and listen.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a pretty powerful statement, because what are we horrible at as men? Listening.
Yeah.
And so he's teaching these guys just in that sentence and just in his actions that listening is super important in our relationships, in a group, in a, one to one. So that's a huge skill that he passes on. And I don't think he even realizes it when he does it,
Yeah.
that people are watching.
I mean, it's hard for me as a therapist that is trained to know what to do and say, but what's nice is I don't show up as a therapist.
Right.
I show up as a regular guy.
You just show up as Jason.
And I don't, and I try to say, you go wait in the car, therapist.
Right.
Because if I try to go into the therapist mode, I don't think it allows the magic to happen in the groups.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, therapy is great. And men in the group talk about, I have a therapist. I have a therapist. There's a lot of that. But there's a significant difference from a therapy group, from this healing group, from the I Love You Bro.
Well, and you're coming in for you. You're not coming in to
Yeah.
be the therapist of the group. You're not coming in to educate or guide people. You're coming in for you,
Mm-hmm.
and you're going to share your experiences, not the therapist's experiences. We have another therapist that comes on a regular basis, and he mentioned that right at the get-go when he started coming. I am not here as a therapist.
Mm-hmm.
I am here for me. I need this group for me.
Yeah.
And he will interject sometimes and say, my therapist opinion
Yeah.
on a certain subject when he feels it's right. But other than that, I mean, he'll give his opinions, he'll listen, and it's actually a wonderful experience. I mean, you guys are pretty similar. I think you've even sat in a group with him.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been great to have, because the guys sometimes feel a little more secure too. Hey, we have a therapist here in case something happens, maybe he'll pitch in. I can get some really good advice. But he's mentioned to me that he gets more advice from the just everyday guys coming in that now he can use back with his clients,
Yeah.
because he sees how these different things that as a therapist, he's focused on the clinical side of things.
Yeah. Yeah.
We are showing them the real world side of things, or I call it the street cred
Yeah.
therapy. And it's a little bit different. So I think we're helping you guys as therapists see different avenues, but you guys are helping us too by just bringing yourselves and not bringing that clinical part to it.
Yeah. I mean, I've sat back many times and go and said, oh my gosh, he said it way better than I could ever have as a therapist. And the men, I mean, I think men want to connect with men, just regular people. And it's
Right.
awesome. And one of the things that we've talked about with Joe is to be able to have a therapist in some of the groups. And if there's a man that's struggling or going through a really hard moment, there's been times where I said, hey, let's step into the office and let's chat. And we've had a mini therapist session to kind of work through some emotions and then reset and then come back into groove. And Joe and me have wanted to provide that in these groups so that if it gets overwhelming, we have the additional support. We have the training to be able to do that if we need it.
Right.
And there's many groups where it doesn't need to happen, but it is there to be able to support. And something that Joe and me have talked about is training our facilitators in such a way that they can not take on these emotions, not take on all the stress of what the men are sharing, but be able to be like a guide on their side to kind of help them transition to the next place, or
Right.
say, hey, let's call Jason right now, or let's call 988 and kind of help you get into a spot where you want to. And that's what the group allows us to do, is we can go into a deep and hard place and we are trained as facilitators and group members to be able to help them get to where they need to
Yeah.
be. And I think that's really important is it's a safe place to open up and talk about, but it's also a safe place to be able to talk about what you need and then guide you to where you want. Go get help and then come back and share your experience and be one of the men that has lived and walked through this program, because we want those men too, because
Right.
they come back and they said, "Hey, you can do this. I did this, and now look where I'm at." And Bi Billy Billy is a good example because he came in here on a recommendation from,
His therapist, wasn't it?
I think it was NAMI.
Okay.
He's talks about getting support, and then he's coming back and sharing that, and it's inspiring, and it's
Yeah.
helping other men heal through his experience.
Well, that's a big message we try to really push is don't just come when you're struggling. Come when you're struggling, yes. You need the support.
Mhm.
But come on the weeks that you're winning
Mhm.
because you need to share those experiences because somebody else needs to hear it. I mean, we have discussions every week about different types of therapy, what other guys are doing, what they're trying. So everybody gets this exposure to things that they didn't have exposure to before.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing that I keep pushing is, hey guys, make sure you're showing up every week, especially on your good weeks, because somebody else here needs to hear how you overcome
Mm,
what you were going through.
very true.
So, I mean, that's a big one. And we have another guy and he goes to every group, Mr. Motorcycle. I know you know who I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
he's great.
He is that way. He goes to multiple groups a week, but we've seen him over the last year just change.
Mhm.
And he's sharing these experiences with the guys of, hey, I learned this week, or I tried this week, and it's awesome.
Mm.
And he shares it in multiple groups, and I think he goes to 2 to 3 groups a week.
Yep.
So
Yep.
because it is his people, his tribe, and his friendships. Outside of that, he doesn't have a lot, and it's built a huge community around him. So
What
I love toting, his success.
what's interesting about these last 2 men that we're talking about, to for them to stand up and give confident advice because they've lived through it is so incredibly empowering to
Yeah,
watch.
they're very both introverts,
Uh-huh.
very much so. They say the one is a computer engineer. I think he'll yell at me if I say something wrong because I know they all like their titles, engineer, software designer. But that's all he did. Like he didn't really have friendships outside of that. It was just him and his wife, and now he has this, and he's just empowered to share
Mm.
every single group.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I miss him. Like there's very rare when he's not there, but the energy he brings in, even if he's still struggling, he brings in that energy of, hey, I'm here, I'm learning, I'm helping.
Mhm.
So it's super powerful.
And again, time and time again.
Yeah.
We had Joe here, and we had Clint from the West Jordan group, and Tao. They would say these same experiences happening over and over again.
And it doesn't matter which location you're going to,
Mhm.
which is amazing.
I mean, the group has a unique, because I've sat in all the groups. They have a unique personality to all of them,
They
believe
do.
it or not. So what you get in West Jordan is going to be different than what's happening in Pleasant Grove
Yep.
to South Provo. It's so different, but you find your group, you find your tribe, and then when you show up, you have men that are excited to have you share successes or to offer you additional support or say, call me or text me. I am there for you.
Yeah.
And that's another like layer of the group that has just organically happened as men just want to help each other once
Right.
they feel empowered and they have gone through an experience that have given them hope again. They want to share that again.
Yeah. Well, everybody that comes to PG has my number. And I'll get texts throughout the week, just random texts, and guys will check in or guys will ask favors. And it's wonderful that we've built that. And this week was a little special for me. I had one of the guys said, hey, I've been listening to the podcast and, just kind of talking a little bit about that. And he's like, he lives closer to the Lehigh group, but he says, I come back to this group because I want to hang out with you.
Mm.
And that was special, that he's listening and said that some of the stuff we've shared, on our normal airing podcast has helped him. But then he comes to the group because he, takes the information that I share and really processes it, and it's been helping him. So I think that was powerful for me. That was a very humbling moment.
Again, he's connected to you on an emotional level.
Right. And we've been through completely different experiences.
And that's the power of I Love You, Bro. We connect men on an emotional level.
Yeah.
Not on a physical or like an experience to experience. And that's what separates us and makes us different than any other group.
And that's the support group side. What I'd like to jump in with you for a couple minutes now is talk about some of these other services that we offer.
Yes. Yes.
So if guys are listening, we've always talked about we can provide free therapy for these guys.
Mm-hmm.
Let's dive into that a little bit. We haven't really, because I don't know a lot about it. I just refer him to Joe when we have that situation. So let's dive into that a little bit, Jason. How does that work? What does that look like for guys? I mean, it's a free thing we offer.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that at the very beginning we didn't offer. And we saw a huge need that men needed individual therapy. And some of them that come to the group don't have the funds or resources. So me and Joe kind of put our heads together and said, what can we provide? So at the very beginning, we talked about what men could do to have a criteria for I Love You, Bro, to provide therapy for them. And they had to meet a criteria. They had to come to group a certain time. We have to see a certain investment if we're going to invest in them.
Commitment.
Again, what me and Joe also wanted to do was we want men to go and get help and then come back and talk about their experience. And because it creates synergy, it creates motivation, it improves the group, and it empowers the group to get what they need to be able to sustain this. So we, at the very beginning, the I Love You Bro project provided free therapy for people, but they had to meet a certain criteria. But now, through things that have happened, we have a couple partnerships that we incorporate, and then we can provide free therapy because of the partnerships we've built. One is with a local university here that has therapists that provide free therapy. So we can send them, and they can, if they don't have the services, we can provide therapy to help them through that process if they don't have the resources. And it's so empowering to say, hey, it sounds like you need some therapy. Let's get you involved. And we can pass them on, and they can get the help they need and then come back and share about their experience.
Right.
And it's so awesome to watch, and the men to talk about, yeah, I went to therapy. This is what my therapist says. This is what I would recommend. And it's like they bring more value back to the group.
Yeah. Well, and I'm glad you clarified that, because when Joe initially told me that, I was like, oh, Jason provides free therapy. He's given therapy to all these people. And it's not that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's we have partnered with a couple groups of therapists
Yeah. Yeah.
that pitch in and donate their time to
Yeah.
help
Yeah.
these guys.
And we want that variety to not just come from us. I mean, again, Joe, he does as much as he can, and maybe more than he probably should because of the energy. We wanted to expand our group and offer partnerships in different places so that our group can be more than just the group.
Yeah.
And another service that is empowering is we offer these workshops for men.
Yeah. Let's talk about the workshops for men, and then let's talk about the ones for the women.
Yeah, and the workshops are dedicated professionals that are really good at their craft, and they come in and they talk to men. They teach empowering workshops and resources and educate them on things that they will be dealing with on a regular basis, whether it be anger management, whether it be we've had a workshop on grief, how to manage grief. I've taught the workshop on grief.
We had the toolbox workshop.
Toolbox. I know we've talked about having a workshop on how to manage pornography and parenting. And what these do is just empower men resources and skills to help them continue being successful as men.
And these are treated as a training course. Like,
Absolutely.
we're providing information. It's not a support group. It is an actual training course.
Yeah, and generally most of them are clinical therapists or professionals that come in and do this training. So
Right.
it's not just anybody that just regular old dad coming and teaching these. These are people that are masters at their crafts.
Yeah. And then we also provide them for women.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a I Love You Sis, where they will have the same kind of workshops that come in and talk about things that can help them. Mental health, how to support a man with mental health.
Right.
Me and my wife that have been through their grieving process, we came in and taught a workshop about grief, how it shows up in the day to day, how it shows up in regular things other than someone passing away. And it's so empower for them to educate and be able to support the men on the other side, as well as the ripple effect. When you teach women, they'll pass it on or they'll educate other people through the process. So it's investing in the women that ripples out in a different way. It's investing in the men that ripple out, and it's just synergy that happens throughout the whole group and the whole project.
Well, and it's my wife has attended most of them.
Uh-huh.
And, I have attended most of them as well. And we come back and we talk about it afterwards.
Yeah.
Hey, guess what? I
Yeah.
learned this, or hey, we talked about this, or
Yes.
the exciting thing for me is she's like, I was able to share what we do. Like I was able to interject and say, hey, we do that and this is how it works.
Yes.
And that's awesome. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a great feeling that again, we're providing education
Yep.
at no cost
Yep.
for people to live their best lives.
Yep. Yep.
Couple of the other programs that we have going on is we do our activities.
Uh-huh.
We get guys out again at no charge to get out of a support group setting, to get out of a training, seminar setting, and just have fun together.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we've been bowling. We did the cold plunge activity where I got a whole bunch of guys talked into jumping in the river.
Yep.
We did a movie night. Everybody get together, watch a movie and hang out. What other ones that you know of that have kind of happened over the last 2 years?
We done service project.
Service project.
Where we go and help other people. Top golf, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
just a variety of things.
Yeah.
And I think initially Joe's like, I want to do, might serve as a recruitment. So we initially invite people to these activities, and then they feel the energy, the excitement, the caring nature of these men. And it creates we invite them to the group, and they're more
Right.
inclined to come to the group and get what they need.
Well, we have one guy, he tells the story all the time, and I laugh every time. How he found out about the project was the bowling activity.
Mm.
And he had a friend that had come a couple times, and his friend came to him and said, hey, I know this guy who likes to pay for people to do stuff. Why don't you come over? He's taking a whole bunch of dudes he doesn't know bowling. Why don't you come over? He's going to pay for everything for you. Come check it out.
Huh.
And he went to that event and met Joe, and he's been coming to group ever since. But I love that he tells that story of, hey, there's this guy that likes to pay for people to do stuff.
Oh, that's
Come check it out.
Who wouldn't want to turn that down?
Right. Right. So it's a whole different approach.
Yeah.
So something I don't think you even know about. We are planning, or I am planning, our very first I Love You Bro retreat this fall.
That's news to me. That's awesome.
We are going to be doing a 2-night, 2-day over, camping experience, actual men's retreat out in the wilderness with some workshops, some outdoor activities to, as some team building and just to hang out as guys. What guy doesn't want to go hang out? Yep. Camp with a whole bunch of other dudes for a couple days.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's coming. That's in the process. I've secured a lot of stuff, and I'm excited for this one. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I'm loving this. And I think about because we offer so much, we can connect to so many different variety of men that might not want to go bowling, but they love camping.
Right.
They might not like the groups, but they go and get
the workshop
through the workshops.
Yeah.
Because I've seen men that I've never seen in group come to a couple of the workshops. Yeah. And I thought that was interesting as well. But we're having influence regardless of the men in so many different levels.
Well, it's even this. We have guys that are tuning in just to the I Love You Bro Hour, on a monthly basis when we release this. That's what they do. They just tune in and listen to this. Or it's really awesome because we're talking about all these stuff that goes on in the group. A lot of the wives have been tuning in.
Good.
And so they're hearing through
Percent.
this I Love You Bro Hour podcast about what's going on in the group and what we're doing. I think it's getting them excited.
Yeah, yeah,
And we've actually got guys that have come into the group because of this podcast because their wife had heard it
yeah.
because their girlfriend said, "Hey, my husband's doing this, but listen to this."
Uh,
And they'll send them in, "Hey, we heard the podcast."
I mean, that's another avenue as wives and girlfriends. If your man doesn't is struggled with sharing emotions, and that's okay, at least encourage him to come to the I Love You Bro.
Right.
We'll do some of the heavy lifting for you
100%.
to get them to open up and share what's safe for them and make your man into a better man.
Yeah.
Just get him to group.
Yeah.
Encourage it, get him to the activities.
Get him out of the house for a minute.
And that's the hard lifting that we need you to do as a female is just encourage them, clear up the schedule, take the kids, get them to group.
It's 90 minutes a week, or it's 90 minutes once a month for a workshop.
Yeah.
Or it's, everything we try to do is between that 1 to 2 hour mark. Like we try not to ever go hour, 2 hours.
Yep.
Because we don't want to overextend.
Uh-huh.
We want to make sure not taking a lot of the family time, but we need to have enough time
Yeah.
that these guys can kind of relax
Yep.
and enjoy. And so that's kind of why I think that time frame was set up is no longer than 2 hours. We kind of stick to that 90 minutes most of the time just
Yeah.
because it's kind of that sweet spot.
Yeah. I mean, it reminded me also of there's a couple guys that bring their son to group.
Right.
And that's really cool.
Right.
To see is allow their sons to share emotion or the fathers to encourage them to talk about hard issues.
Yeah.
And that's another layer of empowering the group is you bringing your son to be able to share.
And mine want to go, but they're still quite not old enough. There's some topics, and I'm just it's not quite time.
Yeah.
But if you want to bring your son, I recommend the age of 16. That's my kind of unofficial rule of thumb, in my opinion, is at 16 they've experienced life enough and they understand that that's a good age to start introducing him to some of this stuff.
But at least bring them to the activity.
Bring them to the activities, 100%.
Because they can interface with the men that are in the group. And then it helps him feel comfortable that dad is in this group and dad is found some friendships and places that help dad become better. And
Right.
they'll ask about it. Like, how's your I Love You Bro group? Like,
yeah.
And it doesn't become a difficult topic to talk about. It's like, oh, dad goes and hangs out with these guys every week.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I love that he does that. And as a dad and a parent is you're modeling healthy relationships. You're modeling this is a place where dad goes and connects, and that ripples onto their life as well.
Yeah. Well, let's kind of wind this up a little bit, Jason. I wanted to have you talk about really quick the structure of the group, why we have the 3 rules,
Mm-hmm.
and then kind of why we very much stress that this is a support group. This is not a fix-all. This is a addition to what else you're doing. If you want to touch on those 3 rules, why we have those, and then just kind of that really quick so everybody understands how that group is structured.
Yeah, we just didn't want men to come in and share and then it's like free game to talk about it outside.
Right.
We wanted to create a safe place that men can share and they don't feel like their information is going to be taken away. So the first rule is you put me on the spot. I did remember the rules right now.
Respect.
And respect means supporting each other, and we can challenge, but we want to be a respectful environment again to help men want to come back, to help each other, and to be able to feel like this is the place where they can share. So respect, whether it be like the tone of voice or a big thing is being respectful of time. So you don't want to take up an hour because you have this captive audience. You get in, you talk about what you need to, you ask for advice, and you move on. And that's about respect for the group.
And respect for the places as well, because each one of these places is donated. So we need to make sure we're taking care of their space. Yeah,
most of them are like therapeutic environments or people that believe in our program and they just say, here's this space.
Right. Hey, I got you. You go through this. So the other one I like to touch on this one is we keep it clean.
Yeah, yeah.
And what that means to me, and you can tell me because this is how I talk to the group, is we try to keep, the language to a minimum
Uh-huh.
because everybody comes from different backgrounds and we don't want to again bring up emotions that people get fired up about, with certain language. So we try to keep it clean. We understand that things happen.
Yeah, yeah,
We understand that there's only certain ways to express things and that's okay.
yeah,
But we just don't need to get out of control.
yeah.
And with the keep it clean, I always stress to my guys as well is we're not here to bash on people.
Yes,
If you have somebody in your life that is causing you stress,
yes.
keeping it clean is the same as that. We're not here to bash on that person. They can't defend themselves. They're
Yeah,
not here. So we got to keep it clean when we talk about people in
yeah.
our lives.
Yep, yep.
That's a big one for me.
Yeah, and we done really good job as far as educating and training the facilitators how to roll with that and how to kind of move on from that.
Yeah.
So keep it clean as, and like you said, like when you're talking about raw emotions, sometimes creative words come out. So, and that's okay, but we don't want to create this culture where vulgarity is something that we encourage and promote because you're going to come home, you're going to go be with healthy people with your wife, and we don't want them to have that perception. This is where you go and you go bash on people because that reinforces the negative that we're trying to eliminate out of their life.
We're not the biker gang.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And again, every group has a different personality,
Right.
what they're comfortable with and talking with. So it's just really up to them. So
Right. Well, and the last one is we keep it here.
yes, yeah,
And I want to clarify. So we have mentioned a few guys' names. These guys are OGs and these guys love to let people know. And so we're not just saying their names here on the show out of laxity.
uh-huh,
We know they appreciate it. They're out there talking about it, so that's why we can talk openly about them. But we keep it there. Like
yep,
Joe's biggest thing, I love it. He says it all the time, is his girls and his family know every single one of us. They don't know our names and they don't know our faces.
yeah,
He'll come home and tell our stories
yeah,
because he's hoping that sometimes sharing those stories with the people he loves will help them.
yeah. And to be able to make a group go well, and this was taught in my clinical training, is keep it there so the safety and they feel like they can talk about this open space to be able to talk about their raw emotions.
Right.
And they're not worried about them going with a friend over to Maverick and say, guess what? So and so talked about in group. We encourage them to keep it there. So it's this safe place that continues to invite vulnerability, and vulnerability invites vulnerability. If we don't have this space, then it doesn't grow and it doesn't make all the emotional changes that we need that we are seeing on a regular basis.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, I host the podcast. All the guys that come to my group know that and they're okay with it because they know I'm not going to air their dirty laundry,
Yeah. Yeah.
to them on this. I've talked about their stories,
Uh-huh.
but it's their stories that are empowering, not the actual just who they are. It's what they've been through.
Yeah. And that brings up another point. Is that why I go back to is hear the stories and hear what people go through because I can learn and I can benefit from their experience. It's just like reading a book. Like, why do you read a book? Because someone has lived it and had the experience, and you just are reading their book to gather that information. If you come to group, you're hearing a guy that goes through this experience, and you're attaining that knowledge to be able to become a better man.
When I use it, and this is kind of our catchphrase here, is turning pain into purpose.
Mm-hmm.
We take our experiences that we've navigated through, all the pickles we've been through in our lives, and we share that knowledge that we've learned, good or bad, or in the middle, so people can use what they need
Yeah.
out of it.
Yeah.
And that's a huge part.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's what I love about the group is you get little bits and pieces every time you go from different walks of life.
Yeah.
So, one last thing I wanted to hit, our big fundraiser's coming up
Yeah.
June 14th. Forge Through Fire.
Yes. Second annual.
It is the second annual. This is the biggest fundraiser of the year.
Uh-huh.
what this money provides. Anything comes in from this event, it provides to help again with our facilities. It pays for the guys that come in and teach the professionals to teach the workshops. It's going to help with this men's retreat. I mean, when you hear men's retreat, everybody's like, oh, that's thousands of dollars. I can't afford it.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're going to keep this thing right around about $100 to $50 a guy.
Yeah.
Just to cover a little bit of some fun stuff we're going to do.
Yeah.
What guy can't spend that to come out and have a great weekend and learn some amazing stuff?
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
this money is going to come help support the project. It helps with, all our education. It helps with the buildings. It helps with our therapist, all this stuff. Anything earned helps us grow. I mean, we just opened 2 new places. Let's hit those really fast. So we have now Salt Lake on Monday nights. We have West Jordan on Tuesday nights. We have another one on Tuesday night, don't we?
Lehigh's coming soon.
Lehigh's open last week.
Yep.
That's on Wednesdays. And then we also have North Provo on Wednesdays. And then on Thursdays, we have Pleasant Grove,
Spanish Fork,
and now Spanish Fork as of this week. So all of those, you can get the addresses and everything on the website. You guys can click the link on the podcast link, or you can go to ILYBroHour.org and check out those addresses. But we have groups Monday through Thursday and multiple. So wherever you're at in the state, we have North coming on soon. The Layton one is in the works. I don't know exact dates, but that's coming.
St. George.
St. George is coming. So that will be hopefully coming sometime by the end of the year as well. So we've got stuff happening everywhere, and it's super exciting.
Yeah.
We're going to be able to bring this. And this is just the start, because as this gets bigger, guess what? We're just in Utah right now.
Yep.
I see this in 5 years being nationwide.
Yep.
And we are, as Nami says, we're the only data-driven men's nonprofit support group in the nation.
Yep. Yep.
So we can prove our results.
Yep.
And we're providing actual education and material for these men to grow.
And really good outcomes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have. I mean, isn't it like over a 70% return rate?
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is incredible for men's group.
It is. Yeah, it's usually way, way lower.
That aren't court ordered to it.
Yes, we are not a court ordered men's group, but we do get recommends from the court. We do get recommends from therapists. 988 actually recommends us to guys in certain situations, which is huge.
Yeah.
So, well, Jason, before we walk out of here, what do you want to ask me? What questions do you have? We've got to know each other, but as far as I love you, bro, or anything going on, what do you have you want to ask me that we need to share with people?
What makes you keep coming back to group?
Man, it's that connection. I mean, I miss it. If I miss a week, it feels like I've been gone a month. Those guys are my guys. They're my friends. I love to see their successes. I love to help absorb some of their sadness or struggles when they're doing it, to take that burden off. It is that emotional connection that we've been talking about. That's why I keep going, and that's why I'll continue to keep going, because it is just empowering.
Yeah. Also, has there been like a phrase or somebody gave you some advice that has changed the things you do now that like sticks out?
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to go back to my very first meeting that you and Joe were there. And it was, I know how you feel. This is what I've been through. I mean, every one of those guys in that group last night had dealt with something different.
I remember that.
But we were all able to connect on some level of what I shared because of their experience on that emotional. So I've been through it. I can relate. That phrase right there has been empowering, because it tells me this is why I share my stuff, is because somebody else will be able to relate to it and take something from it.
It's the golden thread.
It is.
Through all of us.
It is. It's what connects us. So, well, that's it for the I Love You Bro Hour this month, everybody. I'm so happy to have Jason on here. This has been wonderful. Again, you can reach out to us on the website at ILYBroProject.org. You guys can click the link on my website on survivinglifespickles.com. You can click the link on the bottom of the podcast description, If you need to reach out to Joe, his contact information is on the website. Go ahead and reach out to him. Need to reach out to me or have any questions about the project, I am on the website. And then I'm going to let Jason hit his really fast if you guys have questions on how you can reach out to him.
Reach out to me at jason@hopekit.com. And something I failed to mention, me and my wife have put together a self-guided grief program
Okay.
that we're just about ready to launch. So for those that have lost loved ones, whether it be through suicide or cancer or anything like that, we're providing more help and service so that we can help more men.
Awesome. And we will, as that rolls out, I'll make sure and get that information from Jason and we'll put that on here and let everybody know so they can check that out. So
Awesome.
thank you everybody for tuning in. If you have a man in your life that needs this, talk to him. If you have a spouse in your life, talk to him. If you have a son in your life that needs this, talk to him. If you're any type of person and you know somebody struggling, share this. Let us connect as humans. Send the men to the I Love You Bro project, and we'll tell them to send their wives to the I Love You Sis workshops. So thank you again, Jason.
Thank you.
Everybody, share this if this message has helped. Pass it on. We appreciate all your support. We couldn't do it without you guys, and we'll continue to bring this every month to you at the I Love You Bro Hour. Thank you again. Hey everybody, Scott again. Thank you for listening to this last episode. We want to go ahead and give you a quick message just in case any of you are struggling. Make sure you have the resources to reach out and just give you a little bit more information about the project. Again, here's Joe.
Thanks for listening. I know some of these things we talk about, some things we hear can be super heavy, specifically with us bros, where it's finding a place to talk about them, listen to them in a safe space it could be very tricky. If you feel like the weight of what you're dealing with, can't talk with your wife, can't talk with your friends about it, talk to us about it. Okay, go to ILYBroHour.org. You'll see resources there, such as our therapy program. 988 is a great resource for you to call if you're feeling like you need some help on that end. We'll call it with you. We'll call 988 with you. The I Love You Bro Project, all of our programs, they're supplemental to therapy and to professional services. So we may not be clinicians. We're average bros just like you, but we can help you. So you are not alone. Okay, you are not alone. We're here with you.
All right, everybody, thank you again for listening. We hope that this episode helped you understand a little bit about what we're doing, and we hope we connected with you. So please share this with any men that you know could listen and take part of our message and the project. We love all of you. Thank you.
We love you, bro.